Well, good afternoon. We welcome you to this lunchtime meditation on the Word of God in Matthew chapter 5, verses 31 and 32, what is arguably the funnest set of verses for people to comment on, at least for some people probably. Tyler, why don't you go on ahead and read those for us?
Furthermore, it has been said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality causes her to commit adultery, and whoever marries a woman who is divorced commits adultery.
All right. Verse 31. Whoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorce or a bill of divorce. This goes back to Deuteronomy chapter 24. And the reason for that was that if a woman was found in another man's house and her husband hadn't given her a bill of divorce, that she would be accused of adultery, as well as he, and then it would put both people's lives in jeopardy for what was technically not a life jeopardy kind of issue. But Jesus, pointing that out, he's, you've heard that it was said of old. And so this quotation, this reference to Deuteronomy 24. But I say to you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication. Now you say, wait a second, we talked about that earlier in the week. That's right. Any sexual act other than that between the husband and wife, committed external to that marriage of one natural born male and one natural born female, because the only marriage God recognizes is that of a natural born male and a natural born female. Yes, I do have to make some of this stuff clear because this stuff goes out to a lot of people. So to my church members, you're saying, why do you keep... Because we live in a culture now that has same gender marriages, and those don't count in God's book. All right, they just, no. I'm not angry with anybody. It just, it doesn't work according to the book. So Jesus saying here, causes her to commit adultery. And Jesus has a valid point here. And I want you to see this point. And we're not going to get into all this verse. Because frankly, Tyler already told me that I've gone too long on some of my other talks this week. He said, you need to shut up and shorten up, Brian.
I said no such thing.
Well, it was implied. Yeah, I don't hear him denying that. All right, see. Thank you, Tyler. Your implying was there. At the heart of what Jesus is saying, if your wife hasn't actually done wrong by you, you can't put her out. Period. This was a protection of Jesus to the women of his time. In America today, we have this stuff called no fault. Oh, we just can't get along. I'm not going to pretend marriage is easy. But what Jesus says here, if your wife hasn't actually done anything legitimately wrong in the realm of fornication against you, you keep your wife, gentlemen. Because you say, well, but Deuteronomy 24 says that if because under the old covenant, the reason that permission was there, and Lord willing, if we talk about Matthew 19, we'll get to it later at another time. If you did not have one or two witnesses, and this would be good for people today, especially in the church, to keep in mind, but even people in the world, there's a reason why eyewitness testimony, 2 or 3 witnesses. You say, but you know what's going on. Right. So it's possible that in the Old Testament, a man could have known that his wife was fooling around with his buddy, but he never catches him. Moses, to protect everyone, Give her a bill of divorce and let her go, dude. But Jesus says to these men in this day and time, unless you know for a fact your wife has committed fornication against you, you don't get to kick her out. You don't get to divorce her. You don't get to trade her in for a new model. Knock it off. Because why? We know that's his point. You saw something that looked better. Now you want to trade it out because it appeals to your senses more. And Jesus says, no, sir. No, sir. Sermon on the Mount, yet again, tells us what? Check your own heart. Check your own motives. And unless there's actually been a physical commission of sin, and then just no. Husbands, be faithful to your wives. If your wives are faithful to you, keep them. That's the heart of what Jesus was saying here. He said it then, he's saying it now. He said, what about the other part? No, I'm not going to get into the other part in this video. Frankly, the other part is at least, 30 minutes to an hour to make all these pieces make sense. So, check your heart. Tyler, you got some other thoughts?
Check your heart sounds like a pretty good answer.
All right, my man. Bid him a good day in the blessing of the Lord.
Have a good rest of your day and go in the blessing of the Lord.
Well, that's almost like what I said.
I know.
Well, turn off the video, Tyler.
I will. Later, y'all.